High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
a clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
Top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring.
From Holy Trinity High School in Hicksville, New York, the Varsity Media Sports Network presents this Catholic AA1 semifinal showdown, featuring the 5th-seeded Rams of Fordham Prep and the top-seeded Titans of Holy Trinity. Good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler here with Pat Godfrey. And Pat, we have reached the Final Four. Winner of this game plays on Championship Saturday, not too far from here, over in Uniondale at Mitchell Athletic Complex. Clearly, Holy Trinity is the favorite. They are the top seed. They've run the table. They've only lost that one game. However, the intrigue here a little bit with the Titans is that their only loss was their last game, and that they had a double bye week. Now, the positive, Pat, from that is you get healthy, and they needed to get healthy. Josiah Brown was injured in that Chaminade game. Quarterback Rocco Raynon was injured in that game. They're both healthy. They're both playing, but that continuity that you get from week in and week out, you know it better than everybody else. You lose that with a double bye week.
Absolutely. I'm going to be looking very closely early on in this game to see if there's any rust on this Holy Trinity Titans team. Of course, they've been the preeminent team in AA1 all year long, top-seeded, and hoping to put an exclamation point on their season in which they rose divisions, coming up from AA2 to AA1, and really haven't skipped a beat. So going to hope to take care of business against this very capable Fordham Rams team that has been playing well as of late, and couldn't be more excited to spend another Saturday with you, Dylan.
100%. Now, those guys across the way from the Rose Hill section of the Bronx, the Rams of Fordham Prep, they come in with a 4-5 record. They were 2-5 in the AA1, but they do come off a big win. They went to St. Joe's C and they beat the Vikings. Never an easy task to go to Staten Island and win there, but they did just that, beating C 28-14. And what a way they started that game. It's exactly the way that Pat Dean wants his guys to start this game. A 13-play, 65-yard drive, ending with a touchdown from Matt Moorhead to Jericho and Chetta. In the first quarter, Fordham ran 18 plays to St. Joe's C 4 plays. That's going to be critical here today because of how high octane that Holy Trinity offense is. Obviously a key, right, is if you keep them off the field by running your plays, and that's exactly what Fordham wants to do.
Absolutely. You know, Fordham has really pieced things together over the past few weeks. Had a big win versus St. Peter's to finish off their regular season. And, the last time we saw them on the Varsity Media Sports Network, Fordham was, ailing from an injury to their starting quarterback, Matt Moorhead, had the sophomore quarterback, Jonathan Bailey, in. Now they're back to full strength, and the junior quarterback, Matt Moorhead, is going to hope to really put the team on his back here today in Hicksville.
Let's take a look at the bracket and see how these teams got here. We just mentioned it, but Holy Trinity, that bye as the earning the top seed, but it comes off a Week 8 bye, right? Not ideal for the Titans and Fordham Prep. They had to win their game, that 4-5 game, as we just mentioned, beating St. Joe's C on the road. You see on the other side of things, St. John the Baptist and Moore Catholic, they're playing on Staten Island right now, and the winners will meet on Championship Saturday. Let's take a look at the impact or the players to watch for Fordham Prep. We saw a couple of these guys live in person, as you mentioned, out at St. Anthony's, and two really key guys for them to get going. Charlie English on offense. You see his numbers on the year: 140 carries, 779 yards, 11 touchdowns, also 9 receptions. So showing that dual threat out of the backfield in Josiah Moore. He is a beast defensively. 41 tackles, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's really going to want to try to get to Rocco Rainone and make sure that the big play ability that Holy Trinity has is kept under wraps.
Both guys are seniors and really hoping to finish off their high school careers with an exclamation point. And really, the Fordham Prep Rams are going to need those guys in English and Moore to step up in a big way to kind of calm the waters here at a very hostile environment in Hicksville.
See across the way, Pat Dean, his 5th season as the head coach of Fordham Prep, a Fordham Prep grad, 1988. Was also the defensive coordinator for 18 years under former head coach Pete Gorinsky. Let's take a look at the players to watch for Holy Trinity. And we're so happy that we're actually able to watch a Josiah Brown here. Obviously a scary situation. A ambulance had to be taken here. He had to be brought to a local hospital in that Chaminade game. He's good, thank God. Just a concussion. Got cleared. First contact was Wednesday, so he's ready to go. And obviously, look, the schools will detail him here, but as of right now, and maybe it changed in these few hours since we've been here, 19 offers for him. He'll be obviously a player to watch. And on the other side, love the play of Chris Bacon as well. Defensive end. He's just a battler, man, and he shows up in the biggest parts of the game.
Absolutely. I got the chance to call a game versus Kellenberg for Chris Bacon a few weeks back, and he was living in the backfield, really raising hell. So he's going to be a huge factor in this game. Hopefully, if he's able to get after Matt Moorhead, going to be a long day for the Fordham Prep Rams.
We'll take a quick break for the anthem, and we'll return with the opening kickoff. You're watching this AA1
Good afternoon, everyone.
semifinal showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We'll be back right after this.
Amen.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
A clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring. Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like
Welcome back to Holy Trinity. Just about set for the start of this game as it's the top-seeded Titans against the 5th-seeded Rams. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey here with you. Let's take a look at some of our keys to the game in this Catholic Health-sponsored showdown. For the Rams, they've got to move the ball on offense, control the clock, which, again, is exactly what they did at St. Joe's C. Don't give up those big penalties and don't give up the big play. Obviously, we know how explosive Holy Trinity is. On the other side of things, for the Titans, look at that, a little bit a similar key, right? I think a lot of these keys become similar this time of the season. Control the ball on the offense, be a little bit more efficient offensively, stay on par defensively, and sustainability was the message from Kamal Roy, who is in his 4th season as head coach, a 1997 graduate of Holy Trinity. Sustainability, it's a long season, Pat. It's a season that, for a lot of programs, it goes well beyond those couple of weeks in August, right? Like, it's a year-round thing. So just kind of sustain what you've been doing and stay true to what you've been doing from those early days until now.
Absolutely, and Holy Trinity is a team that might have at times during this season had a wider margin for error than most teams, but once you get to this point in the season, in November, everybody's playing their best. Everybody's got experience under their belt, so they're really going to have to play a nice, clean football game here today if they hope to advance onto Mitchell Field.
Good look at Evan Glusick there, and he will be kicking off for the Titans in their home green. And here we go. The AA1 semifinals is on the way. A terrific kick, and it's got to be fielded because that would have stayed in bounds. So the Rams will start off on offense, and they are led there by their QB, Matt Moorhead. He's a guy we did not see a couple weeks ago. There you see him right there, 58% completion for the junior. 1,119 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 INTs. Was out for 3 weeks with a wrist injury, but he's back, played the full game against C, and he's going to be a big player here for the Rams this afternoon.
Yeah, really impressive what Matt Moorhead had to do just to get Fordham Prep to Hicksville today. 18 for 29 with 170 yards and 3 touchdowns versus St. Joe's by the Sea. So he's going to look to keep up some of that momentum that he's got going in the playoffs so far.
Rams start off. It's Charlie English trying to run to the right side. Probably a yard.
Fordham Prep really going to need that offensive line to step up in a big way today. Holy Trinity's D-line is one of the most feared in the entire Catholic League. Got their work cut out for them.
A little bit windy here this afternoon in Hicksville. Good opportunity to get in space. And again, the defense swarming for Holy Trinity. Let's meet those guys on defense for the Titans. Up front, you've got Bacon, Briggs, and James. Your linebackers in this kind of a 3-5 look is Parisi, Reeder, Williams, Simpson, and Case. Your corners are White Jr. and Curtin, and at safety is Josiah Brown. Third and a long 5 here for Fordham Prep. First drive of the game for either team. Moorhead in shotgun. Good protection, goes near side, finds his intended target, and that was Geis getting out of bounds. Little out route.
And I don't love that play call right there. It looks like just a couple yards short, by Keegan Duty of the first down marks, and you really got to know where the lines are at, especially at this juncture in the season. Every single possession counts. That's one that Fordham Prep might wish they could get back.
Josiah Brown is deep, and it was not one of the keys that Pat Dean gave us, but you got to imagine when we punt the football, let's punt it away from number 7 because nothing good can come for you. Little Gaelic football action there by Rams punter. Takes a bounce backwards and actually takes a Holy Trinity bounce.
Down by number 5, James Spring right there. And that's about all you can ask for if you're Coach Dean from out of your punt unit.
So now the Titans come onto the field. They are led there by their junior, Rocco Raynone. There you see him, number 12. What a season the junior has had. A 58% completion percentage, has thrown for just over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns and 3 INTs. He's run for 3 touchdowns as well. And again, just coming back off of that injury suffered against Chaminade. So the Titans will have the ball at their own 40, their first possession of the game. Raynon hands off. That's Reeder bouncing it towards our near side. There's a flag on the play. And you got to figure, Pat, this will likely, and it will, you see the quick call. It's a hold on the offense.
And I know that's something that really has to grind your gears if you're Coach Roy. They love getting Jameer Reeder going right out the gate, that senior running back, and keeping it in, second and manageable, third manageable, really plays into, the Titans' favor here today. So they're going to look to minimize those penalties going forward.
After the next play, we'll show you those starters offensively, but I will say that it's a very young right side of the line with the season-ending injury to Zayden Michelle. On the right side, you've got a pair of freshmen. Now, that penalty, it appeared to be on the other side, on the left side of that line, where you do actually have more of that experience. Raynon, quick out, goes far sideline, finds Brown. Brown cuts it inside. Good swarming to the football by the Rams to make sure that Josiah Brown doesn't get a big play. Let's take a look at those starters offensively for Holy Trinity. You mentioned Raynon and Reeder and Brown. You also have your receivers of Curtin, Simpson, and Cruz. Up front, Briggs, McLeod, Costa, and there are those 2 freshmen we mentioned before, Benjamin and Cole Jenkins. They will be very, very good players, says their head coach, Kamal Roy, but they are just puppies right now, Pat.
Yeah, I can't imagine the kind of pressure being a freshman, playing offensive line of all positions and walking into a playoff game. But, both those guys, Benjamin and Cole Jenkins, got their work cut out for them, have held up so far.
Second and long. It looks like about 2nd and 15 here. It is Reeder getting out towards that block HT towards midfield. And the referees, it seems like, are letting him play a little bit. They're not calling that whistle right away. You see a bit of a rugby scrum for both teams. We'll take a look at the starting defense for Fordham Prep. Up front, you've got Camacho, Johnson, and Conlin. Your linebackers are Wood, Rice, Rooney, and Moore. Your corners are Monroe and McKillop. And at safeties, it's English and Schmiel.
On that last play right there, Dylan, I love that vote of confidence from Coach Roy to his young freshman lineman running right behind him, and Jameer Reeder picking up over 10 yards. Love to see that if you're a Titans fan early on in this game.
3rd and long. It goes back to Reeder. Oh, what a terrific tackle. Josiah Moore, baby. That was our player to watch. That is textbook Pat Godfrey.
Josiah Moore, he's a wrestler and uses some of that leverage there to make a big play right when they need it. Now 4th and 1. They're going to call on their senior again to help stop this potent attack from the Holy Trinity Titans.
That was a 2-point takedown on the wrestling mat. And actually 4th and 1, as you mentioned. So first big play of the game, Raynon in there and right out from midfield. The Titans looking to move the chains. Bottom of your screen is Chase Cruz. Another handoff. It's Reeder again. Burst through that first down marker. And he'll get taken down at the Fordham Prep 49. That's good enough to move those chains.
He got it. And really, Coach Roy is unapologetically confident in what his guys are able to do and come out and execute on Saturdays. You look at this right here, going right up behind his freshman right guard and right tackle, and Jameer Reeder, he's a fighter. It's very hard to stop that guy in a 4th and 1 type situation.
So the big package in there as well, Devin Gonzalez, that strong sophomore in there as well, getting a block. So first big play goes the way of the Titans. They'll move the chains, and they've got a first down at the Fordham Prep 49-yard line. A gorgeous afternoon. Does not feel at all, Pat Godfrey, like it is November. That is for sure.
I love it.
In motion is Simpson. Raynon fakes it, tries to go to Gonzalez. You mentioned him a moment ago. That's an incomplete pass.
That's one, you don't see Rocco Raynon miss very often, but as we said, these guys are coming off 3 weeks off.
For sure.
Just a little bit of maybe extra jitters due to that delay.
And that's what I think one of the things we were most intrigued with coming into this game, right, is will there be some of that rust? There has to be, right, after not playing for 2 weeks. You could try all you want. You're playing the same guys every day at practice, but there's nothing like game repetition, but also knowing the opponent. And they didn't know the opponent until this week. So that first week, it was a lot of sort of internal and looking in ourselves and what do we need to do better. But they lose those reps. Raynon hands off. Reeder churning those legs. That was going to be hit for a loss, Pat. And he gets out to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, finally brought down by Liam Conlon right there. But, that's why Jameer Reeder is one of the biggest players on this entire Titans team. You see, he just has that ability to keep his legs churning. See those kind of high knees get up in the air right there. Get off me. And Jameer Reeder has one of the most beautiful 4-yard carries you'll see.
I think that was Vaughn Johnson, who is legit as well, 5'10", 245, that he shook off the senior defensive tackle. 3rd and 6. Raynon pops out of the pocket. He is chased by Moore. Throws it, trying to find an intended target, but that was in and out of the hands of Josiah Brown.
Charlie English does a great job right here, flying up, getting in Rocco Raynon's face and just rushing that throw a little bit. Interested to see what Holy Trinity elects to do here in an early 4th and 6 situation in Fordham Prep territory.
Yeah, they've 1 for 1 early on here, right, in 4th down conversions, although that was a little bit of a more manageable, right, 4th and 1. This is a 4th and 6. Raynon in shotgun. He's got Reeder behind him. Raynon back to pass. Look out. Pressure comes, and Raynon is sacked.
A bevy of guys in there right there for Fordham Prep. Looked like Albie Cornacchio might have been the first in there.
Sean Rooney, to watch the replay. Rooney 20 comes in, but Camacho, I think, finishes him out. Look at 20 with the rush.
Play.
Right? And then
number
Raynon's got to duck under that, and 75, Albie Camacho gets the sack.
And what a huge play for Fordham Prep early on. You wonder if these guys are fired up to play, think they can win. Just look at that performance on the opening series against that Holy Trinity offense.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more as this game goes on, but look, 40-0 was the score in the regular season. And I don't think anybody here, even the most hardcore Holy Trinity fan who bleeds green, believed that it was going to be another game like that. Look at that first down run by Charlie English. Lowers the shoulder and barrels forward.
Charlie English just a couple plays ago had that big hit on Rocco Raynon on defense. Now you give him the ball on offense, lowers his shoulder, and if they can keep falling forward, there's going to be a long day in Hicksville for this Holy Trinity team.
English, a terrific athlete, a captain, a lacrosse player as well. Middlebury commit for him, who for English, great vision, 5 yards in that first down run, which is exactly what Pat Dean said. Let's get some yards on first down, make things a lot more manageable for us on 2nd and 3rd down. And there's the versatility of English, getting that catch out of the backfield, and he falls forward, as you said, which will set up a 3rd and 1 for the Rams.
Another really impressive play here by Charlie English. Looks like Holy Trinity is going to have him stopped as he makes this catch. Instead, you'll see lowers that shoulder, gets upfield, wiggles right through, and turns a no gain into a nearly 5-yard gain to set up a 3rd and short.
Fordham 0 for 1 on those 3rd down conversions. Let's see if they can complete it here. They've got that big package in. James Rice, you see the sophomore man, 6'1". There he is, Rice. Pushes forward, and he will get enough. They'll give him that forward progress.
Not so fast. See, are they going to give it to him? He looked a little short by my eye.
Let's watch it again. We've got the ability to show instant replay, right? So let's take a look again as the big sophomore, 6'1", 230. Actually, we won't have that for you. I thought he did get enough, and I'm watching the official down the field here who spots the play, and he did spot it ahead. So good job by James Rice, a starting right fielder for a very good Fordham baseball team. He's part of that full house package, right? The goal line, the eye pro. Also a starting Mike linebacker, so he brings that physicality does James Rice.
How nice if you're R.J. Hopwood calling plays for Fordham Prep to have a nice 6'1", 230 back to hand the ball off to in those third and short type situations.
So Will Musia, I think a little bit of blood on his leg, so he's got to come out for a play. So Bruce Williams, the senior, comes in his stead, 6'1", 245. He was a starting left tackle a year ago, but he got dinged up the start of the season. He gives the Rams some depth at that position, which we are seeing here on first down. Little flip to English, runs towards the Fordham Prep sideline. And he'll get, looks like, to about the 35-yard line.
Really nice tackle in space there by Renal White, flying up. But one thing that's kind of surprised me so far, Dylan, is just the push that this Fordham Prep offensive line has been able to get going a little bit. This Holy Trinity defensive line, not used to getting pushed around whatsoever. They're one of the most dominant groups in all of Catholic football, but so far kind of tilting more in the favor of the Rams.
Yeah, they've got some big boys up there as well, right? You've got Camacho, who made a big play defensively at 6'4", 240. Adegoke, 6'1", 225. Another run. And this time the Trinity defense comes up with a big play.
I think that Chris Bacon might have heard me right there.
He was sizzling there.
He's got to be on the all last name team for the Catholic League this year.
This year?
Forever.
Couple years, right?
Hopeton James, another guy, doesn't get quite as much acclaim as the older Bacon, but Hopeton James Jr., 6'2", 205, number 17. He can also make some noise on the inside for Holy Trinity.
Big play here for the Rams. Moorhead rolls to his right. It's in and out of the hands. Incomplete. Was about to say complete, but the ball was dropped.
And that right there looks like it was Jericho Anchetta. Not one he'll usually drop as a senior, trusted guy for this Fordham Prep offense. That one got away.
So Conlin is back to punt. And again, he has that Gaelic football ability, right? So we saw in that first punt that he took where he rolls out and
makes a huge difference for your coverage unit, letting them get down and be on top of Josiah Brown. And you'll see that rose for a touchback.
Yeah, and this one just goes into the end zone. Let's take a look at that first meeting we mentioned before between these two teams, and a convincing win for Holy Trinity. 40-0 was that final score, and Rocco Raynone in that one threw for 3 touchdowns. Josiah Brown had a couple of receiving touchdowns, and how about Evan Glusick in that game too? 2 field goals, including a 53-yarder. But as we mentioned before, a different Fordham Prep team, right? Moorhead gets hurt in that game. Your guy who was the backup, not the one who we saw earlier on in the season, because he came up from JV, but the guy who was your varsity backup at the time was a strictly defensive player, right? So you kind of can't go to him. He wasn't getting reps. You go to your third string. Now your playbook for Fordham Prep is really simplified. Holy Trinity realizes that. They're stacking the box. They make things really difficult for the Rams that afternoon.
At full strength, Holy Trinity is a really tough out. So, certainly not easy losing Matt Moorhead last time around. But so far, a much tighter game.
Reeder, another carry, and another tackle by Moore.
And really, I think one of the keys to this game is just Fordham Prep's ability to flock to the ball on defense and tackle in the open field, because Holy Trinity has enough guys to where if you miss and you aren't sound in that open field tackling, they'll make you pay with some long ones. So far I've been able to contain that long play, and that's made a big difference for the Fordham Prep D.
Timeout by by Holy Trinity on that play. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape between these two teams this afternoon. And again, this is a Catholic AA1 showdown presented by Catholic Health. And there you see it. Passing yards are actually is pretty similar, right, between Fordham and Holy Trinity. Obviously, and even the rushing yards too, slanting towards Fordham Prep, doubling the tackles as well. Points per game, a little bit more for Trinity. And you see the seeds there, 5-1. But I think that speaks a little bit too of not only how close we think this game is, but kind of how close the AA1 has been all year.
Yeah, I think there's really tremendous parity right now in the Catholic League. A lot of programs doing really well. I mean, More Catholic, kind of in a similar vein to Holy Trinity, has been an upstart program the last couple years, really rising up rapidly throughout the ranks in the Catholic League. But no matter where you look, be it AAA, AA1, or AA2, you got a lot of good teams, and you can get beat on any given Saturday.
Off the timeout, and again, it's Reeder trying to go up the middle. And that stout Fordham Prep defense making plays again. Moore, again, right in the middle of it, as was 53, Vaughn Johnson.
Pretty impressive defensive front for this Rams D. You look at Albie Camacho, he's 6'4", 240. Vaughn Johnson, a guy who's got a Purdue preferred walk-on offer, some FCS offers, so very legitimate talent across both defensive lines here today.
3rd and 5, Raynone, quick out, incomplete. Oh, nearly intercepted. The ball deflected off the hands of Chase Cruz, very nearly an INT for the Rams.
Yep, does a really good job of timing this slant route here, getting on top of it. And this can be a tough route to defend against Holy Trinity when you're concerned about the speed beating you over the top. But right there, does a really good job of flying up, getting on that, and forcing another punt out of this normally potent attack from the Holy Trinity Titans.
So Glusick is back to punt. High arcing one, a fair catch is called and caught at about the 43-yard line. So good field position here for Fordham Prep for the final 29 seconds of this first quarter.
Nice job by number 28, Jack McKillop, right there. A lot of people in your face. That's one of those plays that nobody really thinks of until you muff the punt. Not the easiest thing in the world, and they'll take that field position all day.
No score here from Hicksville. It is the 1 seed Holy Trinity against the 5th seeded Rams of Fordham Prep, the AA1 semifinals. It is More Catholic and St. John the Baptist in the other semifinal. There is English on the first down run. Oh, man. He brought the physicality, man.
Bringing the wood right there, Charlie English. I mean, I just shouted out Renal White, had a really big hit on the last drive, and Charlie English returns the favor. You'll see this right here. He just does a good job of running behind his blockers, staying behind his pads, and then when the time comes, boom! Woof. And that's one number 0 is going to feel tomorrow.
That was the 125 train coming into Hicksville.
Yep.
I'll tell you. Second down and 3. Handoff. That one gets blown up by Devin Gonzalez.
Really nice job there by Gonzalez shooting the gap. He's only a sophomore, but we've been calling his name a lot today. 5'11", 210. He does a really good job of taking down the 230-pound back.
That'll do it for the first half. It's been an entertaining one, but it is scoreless. You're watching this CHSFL AA1 semifinal presented by Catholic Health right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Welcome back to Holy Trinity. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey here with you. First play of the second quarter. Handoff inside. And I think some of the dudes on Holy Trinity saw what English did earlier, and they returned the favor. Big hit.
Really nice job by Milan Williams right here. The 5'10", 185-pound senior packs a huge punch, and as soon as we get done praising Charlie English, I guess Holy Trinity must have heard me from up here and returns the favor in a big way to force the fourth down.
It'll be a 4th and 3. This is game 1 for us or at least for me and you, of 2. We have 3 games this afternoon on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We'll talk about that more after this play. Big one here for the Rams. They got the big boys in, the big package. 4th and 3. Moorhead, maybe trying to get a little cadence, right? Maybe draw the Titans offside. And that is exactly what they did. And the Titans, Pat Godfrey, they stood tall.
Yeah, really good job here, not making the mental mistake if you're Holy Trinity. You know Coach Roy is telling them that on the sideline. If you do anything, do not jump off sides on this 4th and short. And, that's a sure sign of a mature team ready to win a championship here this November.
So Conlon back in to punt. He's not only a dual threat, or 3 threat, I guess, right? Or tri-threat, because he has the punting as well. He's also Pat Dean's nephew as well. Good one as well. Bump makes Brown back up, and look at this field position you're going to get. Terrific punt by Conlon. It is down at the 5.
And you love that right there. Fordham Prep pumped up, playing with a little extra juice. And Holy Trinity is going to have to go 95 yards on this drive. They hope to come out to their first lead.
We mentioned our 3 games here this afternoon. One happening simultaneous to this one is out at Wolf Hill Road. No, not St. Anthony's. It is Hills West is home right now for West Hampton Beach. John Perez on the call for that one. And then Pat and I will take the trip east to South Huntington for tonight's big one, the AAA semifinals. There it is, Chaminade, St. Anthony's, a rivalry renewed under the lights at Cy Donnelly Field. Opening kickoff for that one, 7 o'clock. Here comes Gonzalez towards us, going nowhere.
Right there. Great play by number 20, Sean Rooney, shooting the gap into the backfield and bringing down really tough running back, Jameer Reeder.
Rooney, a legacy guy. His dad, Eugene, played with Pat Dean at Fordham. He's a little bit of a smaller version of James Rice, but he stunts well, he sees the ball well, runs well, and just a sophomore.
How impressive when you look at 20 and 44 right there. Both big boys and only sophomores. Got a couple more years of balling out on the interior of this defense.
An official's timeout as well, as there appears to be an injury. And this is one, look, any injury is tough, but Liam Conlon, and we just said it, right? He affects the game in so many ways. You could ill afford an injury to Liam Conlon. That is for sure. He does, though, seem to get right up and, albeit gingerly, is able to walk off on his own.
Yeah, let's hope he's okay. He's a senior who's had a really great career here so far. As you mentioned, they call on him to do a lot of different things, so that'd be a huge blow if he's not able to return.
On the other side of things, for Holy Trinity, injury-wise, they are virtually healthy. You know, you do bring, we mentioned before, you do bring Brown back from the concussion. His first contact day was Wednesday, so he's good. Raynone is back from a wrist sprain. You're still missing Dylan Brathwaite from that broken collarbone. His rehab's been going well. He feels healthy. He's waiting to go, but you're waiting for that clearance from the doctor. And then a big miss as well, Zayden Michelle. We saw him with the crutches before, out for the year. Raynone goes in the air, in and out of the hands. A terrific pass, but Simpson unable to corral.
Yeah, that's not a drop that you see Jaden Simpson
make all too often, usually a very sure-handed sophomore. But so far, kind of feeling like this Holy Trinity offense is just off by a little bit. Usually they make teams pay for those kinds of mistakes with huge plays. That one might have been good for 95 had Simpson held on, but they give Fordham Prep the break right there, and Fordham Prep lives to see another down.
And Pat, this early on here is a pretty big play of this game. You have a 3rd and 9, but you're inside your own 10-yard line, right? You go to Brown. Can he get some space? Brown tackled at his ankles by Josiah Moore, it appears.
And, they've been doing a great job of gang tackling Josiah Brown all game so far. There's a 4th and 1 type situation. Usually Kamal Roy will look to go for it. As you see here, so tough to bring down, but that's why they got to bring 5-6 Rams to the ball every single play.
Good blocking upfield, too, by Jaden Simpson. We just mentioned him off that drop. Was able to knock his guy down, so perhaps you go a little cadence here as well if you are Holy Trinity, but the Rams want to talk things over now. That's probably part of that conversation by Pat Dean and his staff, right, on that sideline. Watch the hard count.
Exactly. Flip side. It's funny, as a defensive lineman, it seems like no matter how many times they tell you and you tell your teammates, watch the ball, don't listen, it's still incredibly hard to be geared up for a 4th and 1 type situation and not jump. So we'll see here if they have the discipline to hold themselves. And, who knows, Holy Trinity might surprise us and actually run a play in, their own territory.
As we have throughout the regular season into the postseason, we want to thank the folks at Yes Network. We are excited to be teaming up with the Yes Network app to bring high school football games to even more fans. That includes games in the month of November. Our broadcasts are simulcast on the Yes Network app.
And Yankee fans, you might be upset you didn't get to see November baseball, but you get to see November football all month long on the Yes app.
Raynone bounces it to the outside, and he will get the first down. How about that play by Rocco Raynone?
And what a gutsy call by Kamal Roy. We mentioned the kind of confidence that he has in his junior quarterback to execute, but in a situation like that where you're potentially giving the ball to Fordham Prep on your own 9-yard line, just of paramount importance to come through right there. Works out for him.
Another officials timeout. So give us a good opportunity as we continue to speak about the Yes Network app. You see that QR code in the bottom left of your screen. You want to hit that QR code and you can download the Emmy Award-winning Yes Network app.
And it's so nice, you're on the Long Island Railroad commuting. Hey, just hop on the Yes app, watch a little bit of football. No matter where you go, you no longer have an excuse to not watch New York's best high school football. And Dylan and I couldn't have any more fun bringing it to you.
That is 100% true. So off that 4th down conversion by Raynone, it's a fresh set of downs for the Titans. Raynone hands off. It's the big sophomore Gonzalez, but again, Fordham Prep's defense, man, they are coming up with some huge plays against the run.
Yeah, this defensive line, led by Vaughn Johnson, just stepping up in a big way. Gonzalez is a big guy, kind of similar to James Rice on the other side. 215, 220-pound back. Not easy to bring down, but couldn't make it through that first level of the Fordham Prep D.
A gain of 1 for Devin Gonzalez, who's a guy you feel like is that next guy, right? Like who can step in maybe in a year's time or get a bunch of those carries that Jameer Reeder has been getting. Raynone fakes the handoff. Little read option, cuts it to the outside, or a little run option, I should say, and good job by the defense, again, of Fordham Prep. Michael Sempervivo, 52, coming up with a big play. Older brother Peter also played at Fordham Prep.
Right there, 52, but been active so far. Really impressed by his play up front, and a lot of different guys contributing for this defensive line for Fordham Prep.
Sempervivo, a senior, 6'3", 207, 25 tackles and 3.5 sacks on the year. And there is Raynone going into the huddle. Has struggled in the passing game today, and Fordham's done a good job in collapsing and making sure that those big plays that the Titans are so good at have been limited. Here comes Raynone. Flag on the play, though. Raynone bounces to the outside, and you even have that sense that Raynone, the way that he was running, realized this is coming right back. He's not going to go into a different gear when he knows he's got to go backwards.
And it looks like they might have dinged the freshman here, number 71, Trevon Cole-Jenkins. Been doing such a good job out there at right tackle, but, you know, Rocco Raynone, 3rd and 8 type situation, needs a little bit more time. Looks like it busts wide open, and usually if it looks too good to be true, it is.
So this holding penalty will push. Here it is again.
As you can see, working on Sempervivo. Actually looks like he was working on number 75, Albi Camacho, who's been just a real handful so far today. So that defensive line, even though they don't make a tackle right there, you know, when those holding penalties start coming out, that's just another indication of the impact they're making on this game.
So coming out of the backfield, you can see how far now this pushes the Titans back. They need Pat Godfrey to get out to the 28-yard line to get a first down.
Look for that help over the top on Josiah Brown.
They bring it on Raynone. A little wobbly pass, and again it is dropped by Simpson.
And he would have been about 15 yards too short had he even caught that ball. A little bit, you know, peculiar, the play call right there for that Holy Trinity offense. Usually they like to be a little bit more aggressive in those type situations. That time they just check it down, and you know, that's a testament to the kind of linebacker and secondary play we've seen from Fordham Prep.
McKillop is deep for Fordham Prep, and Evan Glusik's got a punt from about 3 or 4 yards, or about a couple yards in to his own end zone. Gets it up, is down, but no penalty, and McKillop calls a fair catch. And kind of rinse and repeat right now for Fordham Prep. Very similar to their last drive. Really good field position inside Holy Trinity territory.
Yeah, I think, you know, kind of surprised so far by the low-scoring nature of this game. We were looking at this saying, okay, you know, Holy Trinity's got some of their key guys back on offense. Same deal with Fordham Prep, so maybe you'll see some more fireworks today. But so far in the first half, it's been a battle of the defenses, and both teams just stepping up, playing real physical football through about a quarter and a half.
And you would argue that perhaps that edge then goes to Fordham Prep.
Absolutely. Hey, I mean, if you told Pat Dean 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you could be in, you know, a tie ball game or down a touchdown, I think he would take that. So right now, this is beautiful if you're a Rams fan.
Moorhead finds Lewis Moore, the Oberlin lacrosse commit, who stretches out for a big gain on first down, and actually he will move the chains on first down.
Really nice delivery here from Matt Moorhead, putting it right in the breadbasket for Lewis Moore. And, you know, Moore's a guy who really specializes in, you know, running pro routes, slant routes, you know, get the ball into his hands in open space, and he does the rest. Does a really good job there getting to the sticks.
And I think Fordham on the whole has done a good job of spreading that wealth among their receivers, right? Like where Moore came in with 27 receptions, Geis with 25, and Duty was your leading receiver coming with 29 receptions. 18 as well for Archetta. Flag on the play. Moorhead goes deep. It is incomplete. I thought there could have been another flag thrown as well. And let's see the call here. It's going to go. It's another holding penalty. Oh, excuse me. That's a couple of penalties there against the Rams.
Yeah, you know, we've seen it on both sides the last couple drives, but when you're an offense that's struggling, this can be a real drive killer. You know, Fordham Prep not necessarily designed for the big play. They prefer to get it chunk by chunk under this offense.
So they'll accept the hold, which will push Fordham back to the 40. So a couple of infractions there, and you go with the one that's going to give you a little bit more yards if you are Holy Trinity, which is the holding penalty, and it backs up Fordham Prep to the 40.
I love a little screen pass to Charlie English, maybe a little swing, see if you can gain back some of that yardage right away.
Incomplete pass downfield. Looked like it was Geis, the intended receiver.
Yeah, looked to be a little bit of confusion on that route right there. You got Geis and Lewis Moore kind of occupying the same space. Both guys kind of unsure who that ball was going to. Sets up a 2nd and 20.
See 6:05 left, a fast-moving first half. Both teams running the football a lot.
And you can hear this Holy Trinity fan base getting a little anxious, ready to see some big plays that they're used to out here in Hicksville.
It is Moore at the bottom of your screen. Moorhead looked his way. It's Bacon coming at him, and he's got to release the football, and there's no receiver anywhere near him, so big play by Bacon, because this will be an intentional grounding, which will also then be a loss of down.
Yeah, add an insult to injury right here. Chris Bacon comes in like a bat out of hell. You can see he is just so long. He's on top of Matt Moorhead before he even knows what to do. Valiant effort trying to get the ball out, but in that instance, it's going to cost him. No receiver in the area, and the ball doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Bacon is a terrific defensive end. He's had offers from LIU and Lafayette. Back in earlier life, he was a quarterback. And then the decision was made here where you've got a couple of good ones, right, in Raynone and Zion Woodall-Trippett. Why be a third-string QB? How about you put your hand on the ground and now terrorize the opposing team's quarterback? I think that was a pretty good decision.
Exactly. You know, and a background in Little League football as being a quarterback typically just means you were the best athlete on your team, and they wanted everything rolling through you. So if you watch Chris Bacon play some defensive line, you can tell that he's got some gifts from the Lord out there and putting them to good use.
Moorhead goes long. Good effort there. An incomplete pass, though. It was Lewis Moore, the intended target. So those penalties compound themselves, and that's something, too, that Pat Dean, the Fordham Prep coach, was concerned about, mentioned as a key to avoid those. And now you've forced to punt here on 4th down, and good to see Conlon back there. We were concerned about Liam Conlon before, but he comes back out now to punt.
He's a tough dude, senior in high school. There's no way he's getting off the field in a game like this with all that Fordham Prep depends on Liam Conlon to do.
Liam's brother, Matty Conlon, played offensive guard at Navy. A different build, but that same tenacity from Liam. And no return for Josiah Brown.
An incredible play by Michael Sempervivo. Another long 6'3" senior. And I'm really impressed with the kind of passion that this Fordham Prep team has been hitting with so far.
And this is what you got to do. You want to punt away from him, but when he does catch it, you've got to do just what Sempervivo did there and wrap up right away.
And that's really, a function of that rugby style that Liam Conlon deploys. Gives his, coverage unit a little bit more time to get down the field and be breathing down the neck of those returners by the time that Josiah Brown has the ball in his hands.
Listen, Liam's going to have the word with you, I think. It's Gaelic football. He's a tough Irish kid from the Bronx, not rugby, although the Rams are very good at rugby, that is for sure.
Liam, my name's Patrick. I swear it was an honest mistake.
We'll bring you more about Liam Conlon later on in this broadcast. You saw all the ways to subscribe there at the top of your screen a moment ago to all our social media platforms. We've got some great games ahead of us as well. We'll be at Mitchell Athletic Complex a week from today Actually, I think right about now we would be in our, I think, second game of the day, right? A triple header in the Catholic Championship.
Dylan, you're getting me too excited. It's going to be a fun day, 3 games back to back to back. And, with the stakes as high as they ever get. So it's really all you could ask for. And a lot of teams passionately playing out here today to make sure that their high school football career gets one more week.
Raynon to Gonzalez. Kicks it to the outside. The locomotive, Devin Gonzalez, out to midfield. And Pat, our first big play of the game, goes to the sophomore.
Devin Gonzalez, we were talking to Coach Roy before this game. He said he might be the top overall athlete on the entire team. Pretty hard to believe, right, with the amount of talent that Holy Trinity has. But look at this right here, the big boy at about 210 pounds, rumbling down the field, and only a sophomore makes a huge impact to get things going for this Holy Trinity offense.
He gets out to the 49-yard line. Big play by the big sophomore. Raynon, hands off. That's Reeder running right, looking to break a tackle. Wow, what a tackle that was by James Rice. Pat, it looked like he was getting, the train was going right by him, and he grabbed that one paw and pulled him back.
Those strong hands by number 44 Rice really bail Fordham Prep out. I'm not sure if anybody would have been able to catch Jameer Reeder if he broke out of that one. But you can see that little spark from Gonzalez, then on to the senior back Reeder, and there's just a lot more life and energy the last couple plays in this whole stadium at Holy Trinity.
Look at 44 right there. Wow. And listen, if you're a Fordham Prep fan, you'll love the fact that Rice and Rooney, your middle linebackers, you've got them for a couple more years. Both are sophomores. Here is Reeder up the middle, and he'll get to the 40 and move the chains.
It's a good job by Albie Camacho, limiting that gain to only about 2 yards, but Jameer Reeder's another one of those guys where if he gets the ball and you only need a yard or two to move the chains, forget about it. He's going to pump those knees and do what he has to do.
And Pat, it feels like for the first time in this first half, little mojo here for the Titans. Obviously, it's that big gain by Gonzalez, but it feels like they're cooking a little bit. It's taking a little bit of time. Again, that rust of a double bye week, but feels like they're getting moving right now.
Exactly. We were looking for that swagger that this team is kind of known for. They're the reigning champs. And they're bringing it out right now.
Raynon looking for Brown and underthrows him. It was double coverage against Josiah Brown.
Really good job by that coverage unit. Looks like it might have been Tommy Geis right there, but Raynon just been a little bit off target so far today. I know he's coming back from that injury, but gonna look to clean things up a little bit from an accuracy perspective into the second half.
Considering how they were moving, don't hate that call, right? You go long on first down, you've still got those couple more downs to play with. 2nd and 10 from the Fordham Prep 40. It's Josiah Brown at the bottom of your screen, and a couple of Rams keeping their eyes on number 7 at all times. Raynon, hands off. Oh, man. Moore.
Josiah Moore. I mean, he's smart, fast, tough, good teammate, coachable. Those are all just the words of his coach, Pat Dean, and we're seeing it on full display here. Huge play to limit it to a 3rd and long right here for Rocco Raynon and the Titans.
Yeah, that ends up being a loss of 2. So 3rd and 12 here as we approach 3 minutes remaining in this scoreless first half of the AA1 semifinals. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey here with you in a game presented by Catholic Health. Here comes Raynon. Acres of space to push forward. And look at that, Raynon. But the ball goes down. I think he was down, though. White Hat throws the hat there as well. But Raynon, man, just getting his head down. He sees the space to run to and was trying to make a play there.
One thing so frustrating also about going up against this Holy Trinity team, you're trying to cover guys downfield. Rocco Raynon just says, okay, if you're giving it to me, I'll take it. Looks like he might have been just about a yard short of the first down. A little bit further, actually. Looks about 4th and 4. But from what we know about this Holy Trinity offense, 4th and 4 is very much a go-for-it type situation.
So here we go. 4th and 4. It is Reeder behind Raynon. Brown at the bottom of your screen. Chase Cruz at the top with Jaden Simpson. Raynon, pressure comes. An out route to Brown. Stretches forward. And he will move the chains.
Gutsy call right there, throwing an out route across the field to Josiah Brown on 4th and 4, but he's got sure hands and moves the chains. Look at that, clean pocket, perfectly delivered ball, and that's such a tough situation to play corner against a guy like Josiah Brown. He's running a 4-4, you're worried about getting beat over the top, but he's able to just stop on a dime, sit down at the sticks, and keep this drive alive.
Now the big package comes in. It's Reeder looking to get behind Gonzalez, trying to bounce it to the outside. Spins, turns, stays in bounds. And a big run by Jameer Reeder on first down.
Jameer Reeder is running with some passion right now. Follows an enclave of Devin Gonzalez and co. You'll see he's got a good couple 100 pounds out in front of him. Nice block by 14 Gonzalez to spring that open, and Jameer Reeder says, oh, I'm going to hit that circle button and get an extra 4 yards. Just really some beautiful running from the senior running back.
Chase Cruz blocking upfield as well. And now the Titans are in the red zone. They've not been there all game long. Gonzalez on first down somehow eludes a few tackles and cuts himself inside to about the 11.
And that's scary when a big guy can break a couple tackles like that, kind of restart and adjust himself upfield. He really dances back there like a guy who might be 170 pounds behind a 215-pound frame. So this is huge situation in the game for both teams. Obviously, you got a minute 30 on the clock. If you're Fordham Prep, if you can keep Holy Trinity out of the end zone, you're going into halftime feeling like you won this portion of the game. On the flip side, if you're Holy Trinity, you can go with your head held high into the half, knowing that you got this game right where you want it with 7.
Raynon, Simpson, touchdown! The Titans get on the scoreboard, and this has got to feel so good, man, for Jaden Simpson. Few drops earlier, wasn't dropping this one in the end zone for the touchdown.
Jaden Simpson does a good job. Ball's a little bit high, but goes up, grabs it, and you'll see right here, Jaden Simpson streaking across the middle, has an enclave of blockers in front of him. Could have gotten tagged for an illegal man downfield. Refs didn't see it, and boom, in to go up by 6 early on in this playoff matchup.
Evan Glusick on for the PAT. Low snap, kick is up, and it is good. So with 1:09 left in the first half, it is the Titans who strike first. Jaden Simpson into the end zone. And how about we meet Jaden Simpson now in one of our cooler segments here. Get to know Jaden Simpson. Pre-game meal. Listen, you can't go wrong, brother, with the bacon, egg, and cheese, right? Favorite video game, NBA 2K. And he loves the Flash. He was the Flash there a little bit, right, on that catch and touchdown.
Looking like the Flash for sure, but I got to love that pregame meal, bacon, egg, and cheese. That's what they call the breakfast of champions, you know? So if you want to get out there, perform your best. I know that I have a nice deli sandwich on the way to every broadcast to make sure I'm in tip-top form.
I like that. I had the little everything bagel this morning.
Nice. I mean,
we got to figure out our spot going between here and South Huntington. Maybe,
exactly.
Maybe a sandwich. We got to figure out what we're doing after this. But again, game 1 of 3 here today, happening simultaneous to this one. We're out at Hills West. That's Hills West and West Hampton. Battle in Suffolk 3. Winner takes on Sayville. The Golden Flashes. Pat, sorry. Knocked off your alma mater there yesterday.
I'm still mourning the loss by my alma mater, Harbor Field, to Sayville. But you know, we're undefeated against non-Sayville teams this year at 8-0. And I'm very proud of my boys.
Ooh, a fumble on the kickoff return. Oh, man. I don't know if that was the wisest decision to try to pick that up and run. And it was nearly a catastrophic situation for the Rams.
Really nice job by Sean, Thomas Enoch getting down there, number 20, making a huge hit on special teams and just kind of carrying over that momentum from that great offensive drive right there. Now, you know, if you're Fordham Prep, you only got 1 minute and 2 seconds behind your junior quarterback to see if you can come away with some points. Just got a little bit more difficult, have to go 87 yards.
And if you're Fordham, the last thing you need to do here, right, is go 3 and out. You need to move the chains here. Even if you don't get in the end zone, right, you can't give Holy Trinity another opportunity.
Another punt return.
Yeah. Charlie English stretches out, gets to the 15-yard line.
And I get the feeling Coach Dean, offensive coordinator R.J. Hopwood, and this Fordham Rams attack might be happy going in at 7-0 to halftime.
Timeout is called by by Holy Trinity. You know, we talked to Pat Dean leading in to this one, the Fordham Prep longtime coach, and loved what he saw in that win against St. Joe's C, 28-14 in the quarterfinals. They amassed almost 400 yards of offense in that win, 220 on the ground. They controlled the game and clock. First drive we mentioned before that ended up in a touchdown was nearly 7 minutes and 30 seconds. They ran the 2-minute drill, pretty much everything they wanted to do there. They converted on 3rd downs, a few 4th downs. It was an ideal game out in Huguenot. Again, a very tough place to play, beating St. Joe's C at home. Pat Dean called it his team's most complete game of the year, and what a time for that as well.
You know, they're putting things together at the right time of the year. Coach Dean is also Dean of Students as well as a U.S. history teacher, and I'm sure the message was going into this game, hey guys, this is our chance to make history, right? Holy Trinity has been a dominant program in the Catholic League the past few years. They're a reigning champion out of the AA2 division and the preemptive favorite in AA1 this year. But you know what? That don't matter because we got 2.5 hours out there on Saturday to shock the nation. And, they're down 7-0. But in a good position to come back.
Another handoff. Ooh, wow, what a hit there.
And Renal White, he has been bringing the wood all day long. It's been a back and forth between him and English.
Zero the hero. Wow, look at this again.
You see, quick run to number 28, Jack McKillop, the sophomore, and Renal White, actually number 20 right there as well, which is Thomas Enoch, another sophomore to sophomore hit. And I'm not used to seeing this many young guys out here making a huge impact in a playoff game, but kudos.
And Fordham Prep won't run another play as the first half has come to an end. A defensive battle here in Hicksville, and it is the top-seeded Titans of Holy Trinity with a 7-0 lead, courtesy of that touchdown pass from Raynone to Simpson. We'll take a break here. You're watching this Catholic, presented by Catholic Health on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hi, I'm Gene Sterator, CBS Rules Analyst and longtime sports official. For the adults watching this video, you grew up in a world where officials, umpires, and referees for youth sports took their place regularly and reliably ahead of game time. Today, unfortunately, it's getting harder and harder to fill those jobs. Videos showing abusive treatment of officials multiply on social media, and there have been consequences for the dreadful behavior of players, fans, and coaches. Massive shortages of officials now lead to games being canceled, and the positive effects of athletic competition are at critical risk for this generation and those to come. I'm hoping we all can begin to see youth competition through a different lens. Today, mistreatment of officials has become normalized, and we are facing an abnormal future where no officials to hire means no games on the schedule.
Any call, any decision, any human effect on wins and losses has become subject to not just withering criticism, but physical threats. There's a vicious cycle at work. Fans chase away officials, and there is a smaller pool to draw from, which makes it harder to get quality, well-trained people in position. The entire game suffers.
Did you know, according to the National Federation of High Schools, 80% of new officials quit the game after just 2 seasons because of abusive behavior from the stands and sidelines? This sort of verbal abuse and threatening behavior takes a toll on all officials and makes them leave the game altogether.
Did you know, from 2018 to 2022, an estimated 50,000 high school referees, roughly 20%, have quit. Half of the remaining referee population is at least 50 years old, but young officials are rarely staying more than 3 years in the job.
If the number of officials working contests in all sports doesn't begin to increase, there won't be enough officials to work the games. That means schedules will get cut, teams or even sports might get canceled. In many states, this is already happening.
Remember that officials are invested in what they do. Many officials have regular, full-time jobs, and they're sacrificing time away from their families. Try to demonstrate empathy, put yourself in their position. Think how you would feel about getting yelled at throughout your workday.
Yelling and arguing with officials sends the wrong message to young players. According to Play by the Rules sports advocacy, it teaches them that it's not okay to make a mistake. They can blame others for their actions. They can disrespect authority figures, and it's okay to be rude and selfish.
You know, officials enforce rules, keep competitions fair, and make player safety a priority, allowing youth sports to be a valuable arena for growth. If we can all just work together and be more empathetic to not just the officials, but everyone else in youth and high school sports, we can then preserve what many of us have embraced about athletics. And you and I know the benefits of sports, right? Let's spread that gratitude and be proud of what we can build and not blind to how it's being torn down. Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
So what happens now? Your response in the heat of the moment is the only thing you totally control, and we have an experiment for you to try. Simply stated, just cheer for your child or the team you're there to support. Move that desire to lash out to a different place and encourage without rage. Your child's sporting memory should be about how you helped inspire and not about how you caused embarrassment.
High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
a clash of styles, out to talk it. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring.
It doesn't matter where you come from, what you have or what you don't have, what you lack or what you have too much of. But all you need to have is faith in God, an undying passion for what you do and what you choose to do in this life, and a relentless drive and the will to do whatever it takes to be successful in whatever you put your mind to.
Long Island football, we need to get these kids more exposure, more opportunities. Our whole goal and purpose is to raise the level of football in Long Island. And the only way we're going to do it is create more opportunities for kids to play the game and learn the game the proper way through fundamentals and technique. So our program.
Long Island is a great place to live. It's known for many things. Recruiters, listen up. It's also known for football. Some great players have come out of Long Island. Some have made it all the way to the NFL. Guys like DeBrickashaw Ferguson, who was a 3-time Pro Bowler and played 10 seasons for the New York Jets. Long Island is a bright spot in spite of the decline in youth football numbers nationally. That's because there is a group of leaders, coaches, families, and players who have cast aside distractions and come together to collectively raise the level of Long Island football. When you really love something, it's important to have opportunities to help you follow your dream. There are plenty of venues for soccer and lacrosse. Now there is one for those Long Island players and families who live, eat, and breathe football. These people love the sport and its life lessons deeply. These are the grittiest, nastiest, and most committed young players on Long Island. They are the guys first to practice and last to leave. They are the ones at the camps and the clinics, hyper-focused on perfecting their craft. They are the ones in the gym in the off-season and in the books to keep their grades up. They are the ones you see who never come out. They never give up and never quit. They are the few. This is Long Island Elite Football.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us.
hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
a clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring. Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
a clash of styles, out to talk it. We love those differing styles, right?
Top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring.
We welcome you back to Hicksville, where it is the Holy Trinity Titans, the top seed, leading the 5th-seeded Rams 7-0 at halftime. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey here with you. And Pat, a defensive struggle in the first half between both these teams. Holy Trinity puts up points in a hurry, and perhaps it was the double bye week. Got to give credit, too, to the Fordham Prep defense, but somewhere in between is probably one of the reasons why, or a few of the reasons why, the Titans weren't able to really get cooking in that first half.
Yeah, I think going into this game, we had a couple key questions. Number one is a question of belief. Does Fordham Prep really believe that they can come into here against the number 1 seed in the AA1 division of the Catholic League and realistically walk out with the W? And I think we saw they do believe. And then the second question was, will this Holy Trinity team coming off back-to-back bye weeks have any rust? And I think we saw that play out a little bit as well in the first half. We're used to seeing this be a very high-flying, potent offensive attack, kind of struggle to find their stride until their very last drive of the second half. We're able to punch one in going into halftime, and I think have a lot to build off of if you're a Titans fan coming out the gate. On the flip side, Fordham Prep, you know that you can play with these boys. Last time you might have lost 40-0, but that was 6 weeks ago, and these are two completely different teams right here. So look for Fordham Prep to get out the gate quick in the second half and try and pull off the upset of the year in the Catholic League out here in Hicksville.
Winner of this game takes on either St. John the Baptist or Moore Catholic. That in the AA1 championship game, and all 3 of the Catholic League championship games on Championship Saturday. Pat Godfrey and I will be on the call for all 3 from Mitchell Athletic Complex. AA2 kicks off at 11, AA1 at 2 p.m., and then the big one, the AAA championship at 5 o'clock. We will have one of those semifinals tonight, and by the time we have kickoff at Cy Donnelly Field tonight between rivals Chaminade and St. Anthony's, we will know the opponent, because right now it is 14-all last we checked between rivals Stepinac and Iona Prep in the other AAA semifinal.
We've really been building to this all season. We kind of came into this year saying this could be one of the most fun playoff seasons that we've had in a very long time, and it's kind of shaping up that way. I think you're going to have the best of the best out there at Mitchell Field next Saturday, and 2 really good ones out here duking it out for that honor next week.
And I think it's been true in this conference as well, right? In the AA1, we've seen some very good teams. Obviously, those guys in green have lived up to the preseason expectation, earning the top seed there. But you've got Moore Catholic, a team that we've seen as well this year, very, very good, led by their quarterback, John Machowski, as well as a very good sophomore running back in R.J. Pacheco. St. John the Baptist we saw a week ago with their playmakers, right? Ziva and running away Eli Alvarez as well. And, of course, we see what these 2 teams here, Fordham Prep as well, brings to the table. So whoever emerges from those 4, that should be a really fun championship game, though we are getting ahead of ourselves. We've still got 24 minutes of football left in this one.
Yeah, can't put the cart before the horse, but, when Catholic Health is presenting some CHSFL football and Varsity Media, it's just hard not to get really pumped up about all the fun to come.
Let's take a look at, while we have an opportunity, maybe those standings this year and see how everything kind of worked out to get to the seedings and the playoffs. And again, we mentioned Holy Trinity being the top seed for a good reason. They were undefeated through really most all of this regular season. They had that Week 7 loss to Chaminade 10-7. That snapped an 18-game winning streak. Of course, we saw them a year ago go undefeated to win the AA2 championship, and that winning streak went back into that COVID spring season as well. But Fordham Prep, a bit of a struggle this season, but, look at some of their opponents, right? Like, they lost
really just
St. Anthony's, right? Kellenberg, like they lost a tight one to Chaminade. So they've been sort of building up for these big games late in the season. And again, they ended the season with a tight win over St. Peter's, had a bye, they got healthy. There you see the standings in the AA1 this season. And see, so far, only that one upset, right, in the playoffs. It's been chalk other than Fordham going to Huguenot in pretty much like almost the New Jersey portion of Staten Island and winning that ball game. So here we go, second half, kickoff. It's Dre Curtin at the 10. Turns it upfield, gets by the first blocker. And how about the pursuit, man, by Liam Conlon? He was beaten first, still turns back around and ends up getting the tackle.
And that's really so key when you're going up against Holy Trinity. Dre Curtin, kind of the first time we've called his name here today. Another one of those guys who's just so elusive, so tough to bring down. So in that instance, Liam Conlon's determination to continue pursuit of the play, that never-ending motor, really pays off, and they're able to pin Holy Trinity down inside of the 25.
Yeah, Dre Curtin, 19 receptions, 353 yards and a couple of touchdowns. A guy who has similar speed to a Josiah Brown, to a Dylan Brathwaite. He is just as dangerous as well. In that big win, that non-conference win in that Battle of the Bridge out in Rutgers, he was the leading receiver against the Maculata. Here comes Reeder, runs up the gut. This time he gets the push. He broke that first tackle, got into the secondary, and is pulled down at the 31-yard line.
Really impressive how Jameer Reeder, who, isn't the biggest guy in the world at only 5'10", 175 pounds, is able to run through these arm tackles and really, kind of challenge these backers every single time he hits a second level. Right there, James Rice does a good job of bringing down Jameer Reeder, but he's the type of back that weighs on you as you work into the second half. As this defense gets a little bit more worn out, all of a sudden those 5- and 6-yard runs turn into 10- and 20-yard runs.
Back to Reeder, lowers the shoulder, gets pulled down at about the 30, and that should move the chains for Holy Trinity, and it does.
Also want to shout out number 75, Irv Briggs, back in the game, and he is really just a stud. UConn commit, they're at left tackle, and they're going to really look to run behind him all throughout this second half, as he's one of the more dominant linemen in all of New York State.
Briggs, the AA2 offensive lineman of the year a year ago. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. And you get the feeling, even though it would still be a low score, should Holy Trinity find a way to score, there's Devin Gonzalez trying to cut it upfield. What extra effort, churning the legs past the 40. It's going to take a host of Rams to finally pull down number 14.
And let's go, number 14. Let us know you're here. The big boy sophomore just refuses to go down.
Pat, let's take a look at the first point of contact here. Because I think he pulled a bunch of dudes in white jerseys a good 10 yards.
Right there, fails to bring him down. McKillop. You got Charlie English in there. You got Albie Camacho.
Look at those huge legs.
Churning, Johnson. I mean, guys, this isn't the little sisters of the poor he's dragging around. Those are some legitimate Division I prospects that he just gave a ride. Hello, Devin Gonzalez.
First down for Holy Trinity. The Thunder and Lightning. Jameer Reeder to the outside. Another first down for the Titans. But I was going to say before, Pat, as you get the feeling as we take a look at the replay again, should Holy Trinity score again here, it might get really difficult early on here for the Rams because you fall into a 2-touchdown hole.
You know, once this Holy Trinity offense kind of gets their mojo, gets a little bit momentum behind them, they're incredibly difficult to stop. I mean, you saw number 14, Devin Gonzalez, right there running like he was Earl Campbell, and then when you can complement it with Jameer Reeder, it's just a really, really tough attack. And if Holy Trinity can systemically move the ball on the ground, then they can pretty much punch their ticket to Mitchell Field next weekend.
Injury timeout as there's an injured Ram down on the field. But you take a look there at Rocco Raynone and the coaching staff. And listen, 2 weeks off was tough for these guys. Make no mistake, Kamal Roy told us it was just about keeping his team engaged and focused. They were able to take care of some academic things, revisit some things on the field, kind of get back to basics, right, and start then getting prepared. They were able to carve out some days as well for recovery. But it was the continuity, how the process goes with preparation. That's kind of hard when you don't have people to prepare for, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of the struggles during these 2 weeks off for the Titans.
I'm sure a lot of these players will tell you, though, the hardest guys they go up against all season are their teammates during practice. So it's iron sharpens iron here in Hicksville, and they're kind of reaping the benefits here on this drive.
Reeder. And now, Pat, on this first drive, we're seeing these guys in green, man, they're getting 5 and 6 yards at a clip.
Yeah, just kind of an assertion of their will so far on this drive for Holy Trinity. It's never a good sign when it starts looking real easy, getting 6, 7, 8 yards, if you're a Fordham Prep fan at least. And Jameer Reeder is starting to get that momentum going. Could be a long second half if they fail to wrap up number 27.
I'll see you later.
A second and short for the Titans. It's Reeder again. Look at the explosion to the outside. He will move the chains yet again.
You know, if you're playing inside backer right now for Fordham Prep, it's a pretty easy key to figure out what's going on and what's about to play out for the Holy Trinity offense. Follow number 14. They got Devin Gonzalez leading the way for Jameer Reeder every time. It's either going to 14 or he's paving the way, doing an incredible job. And, you know, right now, Fordham Prep just looking for answers.
It's a 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line as the Titans have really moved the football here on their first drive of the second half. And now it's Gonzalez. Gets a block from Reeder. Gonzalez, touchdown, Holy Trinity. 28-yard touchdown for Devin Gonzalez.
And you could have driven a Mack truck through that hole. Number 14 is a physical runner, but didn't need his physicality here. Really loved the blocking by a couple freshmen out on the right-hand side, Trevor Benjamin and Trevon Cole Jenkins. Huge hole, and Devin Gonzalez makes the Rams pay to go up by 13.
Glusick on for the PAT. The snap is good, as is the kick. 14-0, Holy Trinity with the lead. You're watching this AA1 semifinal showdown presented by Catholic Health on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
We We welcome you back to Hicksville. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey here with you. The Titans have extended their lead 14-0 on a 28-yard touchdown run by the super sophomore, Devin Gonzalez.
And now all of a sudden a lot of pressure on this Fordham Prep offensive attack to respond. Last couple drives for Holy Trinity have been like a hot knife through butter to go up 14-0. Now big opportunity for a response. And Fordham Prep is going to be counting on their junior quarterback, Matt Moorhead, to distribute the ball out onto the edge to some of those weapons. Look for Geis, Moore, Anchetta, Duty, some of those guys to get involved here as they look to start scoring in short order.
Glusick takes a bounce, fielded at about the 15-yard line. Terrific pursuit there by the Titans. And that's one thing, too. This is on specials, Pat, but defensively speaking in general, Pat Dean, the Fordham Prep head coach, says they might be the best defensive team that we've seen in maybe 20 years. Just that speed that they're so good at offense, listen, that translates to the defensive side of the ball as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at the kind of speed that they have back in their secondary, just looking at guys like Renoho White Jr., Josiah Brown, I mean, we've seen number 20 today, Thomas Enoch, make a big impact as well. You know, they got studs all across the defense and very rarely give you any breathing room as an offense. So makes it even tougher when you go down by 14 against them, but Matt Moorhead's going to have to step up in a big way.
Had a big game against St. Josie a week ago, was 18 of 29 for 180 and 3 touchdowns. 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line, handoff to English, tries to run it right. Bacon is chasing him from behind, and English goes out of bounds, chased there by Chad Case.
Like that play call right there for Fordham Prep. Let Holy Trinity know that, hey, we might be down by a couple touchdowns, but we're still going to do what we do. You still want to keep it to 2nd and 3rd and manageable. Now that you gain 5 yards out the gate, all of a sudden you got a chance to maybe open the offense up a little bit and let Matt Moorhead try and get the ball deep to one of his weapons.
Nice gain there by English on 1st down. 2nd and manageable for Fordham Prep. Titans showing blitz. They back off now from that. Moorhead comes near side. Intercepted at the 30. This will be a pick 6.
Jaden Simpson with his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. This one comes from the defensive side of the ball. If you had any questions about his hands after that first quarter, he's silenced them since. You can see right here, Matt Moorhead just doesn't see number 3 over the top. And that quick step, doing a little Deion Sanders impression, bringing that ball back too easy. And that's a tough blow for Fordham Prep.
Simpson's 2nd INT of the year. And suddenly a game that was scoreless forever. We saw Holy Trinity score late in the 2nd quarter. They've scored early here in the 3rd. And they're a Evan Glusick PAT away from taking a 21-0 lead. Kick is up, and that's exactly where they are.
And that's why this team is so dangerous, right? You give them just anything, and they'll make you pay for it. Right there, junior quarterback staring down a receiver maybe a brief second longer than he should have. And number 3, Jaden Simpson, makes him pay. And that's just another reason why Coach Dean from Fordham Prep said that Holy Trinity might have been the best defense he's seen in 20 years.
Last playoff meeting between these two teams went a little bit differently. We have to go back to November 7th, 2015. It was the AA quarterfinals, and you see the score there. It was Fordham Prep, a 27-17 win. Matt Vellecci, 15 of 29, 293 yards and 4 touchdowns. How about Will Lafredo? 3 receptions for 119 and a touchdown, and Owen Lombardi brought it defensively that day for the Rams. 9 tackles and an interception in the AA quarterfinals.
Of course, big footnote right there is that was pre-Kamal Roy era for Holy Trinity. So this is a whole new program.
Yeah, Roy has taken over for the legend Tony Massia, of course, who coached Kamal Roy here at Holy Trinity as well. Roy, as Glusick kicks off. This one will be fielded at the 10-yard line. Look at this return. Huge play for the Rams.
That's Jericho Anchetta.
Yeah, Anchetta was one of the heroes a week ago against St. Josie. And this time he's getting it done on specials, a play that Fordham desperately needed.
Yeah, you kind of felt like Fordham needed a little bit of adrenaline shock to come back to life here. And Jericho Anchetta delivers just what the doctor ordered. The senior is not going to end his high school career on a low note. Going to keep fighting and delivers a nice adrenaline shock that Fordham really needed.
Strong as an ox and really fast is Jericho Anchetta. Let's see if the Rams can capitalize off that big return by Anchetta. They'll need a response in the biggest way. 1st and 10 from the Holy Trinity 41. English to the outside, going nowhere, says Irv Briggs, the 4th.
And Holy Trinity just doing a really good job of flying to the ball right now. We've been calling his name all day. Just had the big pick 6, but Jaden Simpson tag teams in there and make sure Fordham Prep really feels that hit.
In case we weren't sure, getting reminded, he's a sophomore. Jaden Simpson.
You know, we're talking about Simpson, we're talking about Gonzalez. You know, for anybody who thinks that this is just kind of a passing time at Holy Trinity, oh no, this is a deep program that's built to win for years to come.
Under center is Moorhead. Look out, pressure comes from Simpson, nearly intercepted. Simpson brought the pressure, and Chad Case in and out of his hands.
Chad Case, really tough dude, transferred in this year from Baldwin, has a ton of upside, and, you know, I've seen him make some really, really special plays right here, just lets the ball get away from him. Sometimes when it's that easy as a defensive player, you just kind of find yourself questioning what's even going on, and gonna really wish he had that one tomorrow morning.
3rd and 9. As you mentioned before, this is part of the resurgence, right, of this program. It's a program that ultimately wants to get back to the AAA playoffs. Moorhead chased, screen pass to English, and a good upfield tackle there as well. It's tough when Charlie English is getting some open space, but Dre Curtin makes sure he chops him down and sets up a 4th down.
I like that play call right there, because I think if you're Fordham Prep at this junction in the game, down 3 scores, it's 4 down territory. You get yourself to a 4th and manageable, and now they're looking at 4th and 2 yards to go to keep this drive alive. Really a make or break play here in the 3rd quarter for Fordham Prep. Looking to the drawing board, what Fordham Prep might be thinking about right now. To me, I'd be interested to see if they go back to tried and true Charlie English to fight for a couple yards and they need to hear the most.
Yeah, he is to Moorhead's right hip. They motion Geis. A timeout, though, is called by Fordham Prep. We mentioned Holy Trinity and sort of like what they're looking to do here, and that's part of Kamal Roy's 5-year plan, he called it, which is getting or trying to get Holy Trinity back to the AAA, right, which is a place that they've been. They've lived there. They've played in the championship game years back when Anthony Bernetti was running for them, and they lost that game to St. Anthony's. We'll take a look at the season that was here for the Titans of Holy Trinity. And you see the early lopsided wins, right? Kennedy Catholic, St. Francis Prep, that big one at Rutgers against Immaculata. And then a little bit of adversity comes late, right? Where the Moore Catholic game was tight. And obviously the Kellenberg game, you were on the call there as well. And then the Chaminade, that 10-7 loss, their lone loss of the season.
Yeah, I think Holy Trinity's trying to prove out here today that loss is a bit of an aberration. They had a couple of key injuries. It's a real tough situation. But, they have the ability to kind of put to rest any of those demons from that loss out here, this week and next week at Mitchell Field.
14-0 right now, the score for Moore Catholic in the fourth quarter. Iona Prep leads Stepanak 20-14 in the third quarter. So those big kind of out-of-town scores for you, right? As everyone's scoreboard watching, wanted to see what we're going to look like in a week's time out at Mitchell Athletic Complex. So here we go. 4th and 2 for the Rams. Big play for them. Geis again in motion. Moorhead back to pass over the middle, and that is incomplete. Brown was the defender on the play, and a turnover on downs against the Rams.
It's a tough one right there. Looks like it was intended for Keegan Duty, but just unable to hold on.
And this is kind of what Holy Trinity does, right? They know that they don't even have to be at 100% of their best in order to win. Fordham Prep really fought their tails off in the first half, kept this game tight, but you give Holy Trinity just a small opening, and they really, really make you pay for it. Now here they are. It feels like we blinked, and they're up 3 scores in just the third quarter.
Titans winning the AA2 championship a year ago, beating St. John the Baptist 21-10 to complete an undefeated season. So many of those guys back, including number 27, Jameer Reeder. Another good gain there on first down. You go back to 2008. That was the previous championship for the Titans, a 55-7 win over Stepanak in the AA championship. 1999, they won the AA as well, beating Cardinal Hayes 41-30. And then you go all the way back to 1992 when they won what was then called the B championship, beating Fordham Prep 26-0. A year ago, these Titans made history as the first team in the program's history to go undefeated and win a championship. There goes Reeder to the outside again, but the flag is thrown, and it will be an holding penalty against Holy Trinity.
I think for a lot of these guys, there should be a ton of pride in the way that they've been able to bring a winning culture back here to Holy Trinity High School. Coach Roy was there for some of the golden days back in the day and really trying to remind his guys, hey, there's no reason we can't be Iona Prep, that we can't be St. Anthony's. And long term, that will mean likely going back up to the AAA division, where I think on paper they've got enough talent to compete with anybody. But for now, you know what? You're going up against a really, really strong through-and-through AA2 league here in New York this year. And Holy Trinity is hoping to cap that off the right way.
AA1?
AA1. Apologies.
That's all right. They were AA2 a year ago. They've moved up the ranks, AA1 this year. Off that penalty, second and long, Raynone finds Gonzalez. I love that play call, man. Give it to the young buck and let him turn and churn and get extra yards. And Devin Gonzalez has a blocker upfield. And Devin Gonzalez.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
Down Holy Trinity.
Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, geez, I'm trying to think of the right comparison here. Is it Derrick Henry? Is it Earl Campbell? I don't know if that does justice for what Devin Gonzalez does right here. Refuses to go down. Loves seeing number 7, Josiah Brown, clear the way and make sure his running back can make it all the way to the end zone. But
Wow, what a cap on the day that Devin Gonzalez has already had, just a sophomore, and asserting himself physically here in the AA1 playoffs.
Wow. Feed the young man, Devin Gonzalez.
And Dylan, can you say Varsity Media top 10 right there?
Oh, yeah. PAT is up and good, and the Titans are cooking now, man. 28-0 is the score, 3:03 left. Third quarter. You're watching this Catholic AA1 semifinal showdown presented by Catholic Health on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people, all people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Devin Gonzalez getting a well-earned seat on that bench, man. What a rushing touchdown for the sophomore. And he's really, it seems like, put that dagger into Fordham Prep here. 28-0 is the score. 21 points scored in this third quarter.
I mean, when Coach Roy told us going into this game that 14 might be the best athlete on the entire team, kind of hard to believe, right? You got Josiah Brown, maybe the fastest guy in all of New York State. Dylan Brathwaite, the Rutgers commit. I mean, across his team, they're just incredible athletic talent. But 14 right there, just showing you why he's special. Only a sophomore and making a huge impact here in Hicksville today.
Film don't lie. That is for sure. And the film will show you. How about that kick by Glusick, man? And now the Rams are stuck inside their own 5. That was incredible. Evan Glusick, it looked like it was going to be a touchback. It bounced back the other way. And now the Rams, they are in all kinds of hurt. They've got to start from their own 5. But if there's a guy potentially to lead them there, let's take a look at, or get to know a little bit more about Liam Conlon. We mentioned him before. Favorite dish from his mom, it's the lasagna, baby. And again, tough Irish kid from the Bronx. You know his favorite athlete there. You understand it. It's Conor McGregor. On the game day playlist, The Business by Tiesto for Liam Conlon from the Boogie Down Bronx.
Liam Conlon doing a little bit of everything and definitely taking care of all business that he can. Doing a really good job with that Gaelic football style punting. But he's going to need his offensive boys to come through here.
I thought for sure he was going to get a little like corned beef and cabbage action there.
Exactly. Irish soda bread, something.
Yeah. I respect it, though. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with lasagna, right?
No.
Like, who doesn't love some Sunday lasagna, right?
Always a beautiful thing.
Again, the winner of this game takes on the winner of the more Catholic St. John the Baptist semifinal. If the Cougars rally, you'd have a rematch of last year's AA2 championship game, which was won by Holy Trinity. And if it's more Catholic, well, they would be in the AA1 semi-championship game for the second straight year. They lost a year ago to Chaminade.
Pretty impressive, both those programs making a step up and really not skipping a beat here in the AA1.
Toss comes our side. Oh, man, what a tackle. You've called his name out a few times, man. Charlie English, you like the play call, but the pursuit was terrific.
Thomas Enoch, really just playing his tail off. Another sophomore here at Holy Trinity. He's only 5'7", 160, but he flies around and hits like a 200-pounder, and he let Charlie English know he was here yet again.
Programming note, a reminder, Pat and I will make the trip out to South Huntington for tonight's AAA semifinal game. as it'll be Chaminade and St. Anthony's, a rivalry renewed. The two teams met up on the JV side this morning in the playoffs, and it was Chaminade with the road win there. Can
Maybe
the
a
Flyers,
little foreshadowing.
Listen, the JV and varsity both won the last minute a week ago against Kellenberg. And look at this. Little trickery by the Rams. It's completion to Moore.
Completed to Lewis Moore right there.
It was English, right?
Yep, from English to Moore. Not the prettiest ball in the world, but you got to give credit to the running back getting that ball there, delivering a strike, and able to move the chains. You got to admire the creativity from R.J. Hopwood dialing that one up. Try and get something going here for Fordham Prep.
Inside the final minute of a third quarter, that Holy Trinity has really exerted some dominance in, right? Where they had they scored late. It was scoreless forever. They scored late second quarter. Now it's 21 straight points. Nice run up the middle. Almost Devin Gonzalez-esque there.
That looked like it was Benjamin Lee.
Benny Lee, yeah.
5'7", 170-pound running back. Does a really good job. Had a kick return earlier here today. And got to like the junior coming in there, trying to bring a little bit of energy into this offense.
We've seen Lee a lot more on the defensive side. You mentioned specials as well. As this will not even be a play as the Rams walk off the field as we are 3 quarters in the books. Holy Trinity 12 minutes away from booking their spot into the AA1 championship game. Can the Rams mount a comeback? That answer comes when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Let me tell you something. If tomorrow wasn't promised, what would you give for today? Forget everything else. Forget everything else. Forget that there was any sunlight left. What would you spend today thinking about? Yourself or the man that's beside you? Or the man that you know you'll give everything in your heart for? We get one opportunity in life, one chance in life to do whatever you're going to do, to lay your foundation, to make whatever mark you're going to make, whatever legacy you're going to leave your legacy. And it's found through effort. Wins and losses come a dime a dozen. But effort, nobody can judge effort. Because effort is between you and you. Effort ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
We welcome you back to Hicksville. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey here with you. AA1 semifinals, and a close 7-0 game has been blown open with a huge third quarter by Holy Trinity. They lead this one 28-0. English with the carries tripped up. It's a short gain on a second and short. Another score for you in that clash between Iona and Stepanak. It is the Gales at home there at Mara Field, a 27-14 lead.
Stepanak has taught us one thing this year. Don't count them out early. They don't like to play a full game, but you know what? They know how to make a big comeback. Did that in a big way. Their last game of the season versus St. Anthony's wound up falling just short. And, I'm sure Coach O'Donnell is rallying his troops on the sideline up there in New Rochelle. So don't count them out just yet.
In the AA2 playoffs, it is tied at 7 between Mount St. Michael and Xaverian. 3rd and 1 for Fordham Prep. We thank CHSFL President and Holy Trinity Athletic Director Chris Hardart for his work in getting us these scores. He's wearing many hats here today out in Hicksville. Was the PA guy earlier as well. First down for the Rams. We do know, should Fordham lose, that's not the end of their season. They'll have the 99th edition of the Turkey Bowl on Thanksgiving morning against Xavier, the two Jesuit schools doing battle. One of two long-running Thanksgiving Day traditions here in the Catholic Football League. It is Hayes and Mount St. Michael, the other one.
What a great tradition.
Oh, absolutely. And Chetta to the outside, and a gang tackle by the Titans. Yeah, this is the 99th edition coming up this Thanksgiving. It's a 10 o'clock start. This game is at Aviator Sports Complex, but what I love about that means that the 100th will be on the campus of Rose Hill, man. What a great backdrop for, the oldest running Thanksgiving Day game in our area.
Yeah, picturesque, and pretty amazing. Just think about the longevity of the Catholic League here in New York and the kind of incredible traditions that get brought into play each and every week. Tonight we get to see maybe one of the greatest rivalries in high school sports, maybe in America, between Chaminade and St. Anthony's. But a lot of fun to be had all throughout the tri-state area when you're watching CHSFL football.
Flag on the play, and I think the folks up in Westchester County would love to have a word with you there as well, because Stepanak Iona, that's been has rivaled that rivalry, if you will, because of how well those two programs have been these last couple of years as well, between Iona and Stepanak.
Absolutely, just heavyweights up there every time they meet. It's a lot of fun. I know Stepanak is hoping to move on to Mitchell Field for the first time in a few years. They feel like that's really a weekend they should make every year. But, it's easier said than done when you got to go through the likes of Iona Prep, St. Anthony's, Farrell, all the different teams up there in that AAA.
And it was Farrell a year ago that ended that long stretch of those trips to Uniondale for Stepanak with an upset win in the semifinals. They were home, though, so it's hard to call it an upset when you win at the Lions Den, but certainly that's not where Stepanak's been used to ending their season. Moorhead's long pass deep looking for Lewis Moore is incomplete.
Just a quick shout out to this Holy Trinity defensive backfield. Dre Curtin doing a great job, Josiah Brown, Renal White, bunch of guys back there, and there really just hasn't been any breathing room for the Fordham Prep receiving core today. A lot of tight windows for Matt Moorhead. Might have forced that pick six earlier, and they just continue making life difficult for the Rams signal caller.
Yeah, Moorhead back from injury. When we last saw Fordham Prep on the Varsity Media Sports Network, it was actually Jonathan Bailey, the sophomore, whose first varsity start was against the Friars of St. Anthony's under the lights out at Cy Donnelly Field. That pass is incomplete, and that's one of those glass half full situations for the Rams, is that you've got a Bailey back, that you've got Moorhead back as well. He's just a junior.
No doubt, there's a lot you're going to rebuild with if you're Fordham Prep. You really love the play of your two inside linebackers today, both being sophomores, whether it be James Rice or Sean Rooney, doing an excellent job of limiting this, running attack coming from Holy Trinity, but, really tall order when you're going up against such a stacked lineup such as the Titans.
That time it was Bacon coming at Moorhead. Moorhead had to quickly get that ball out of his arms. It was an incomplete pass. It's a 4th and 10 now for the Rams.
Yeah, this almost feels like a situation where you might have to go for it. If you're Fordham, you're at your own 48-yard line, 4th and 10. Obviously a suboptimal scenario, but if you want any chance here, you probably got to go for it. As we see them sending Matt Moorhead back out to the field.
8:37 left, fourth quarter. A 28-0 lead for Holy Trinity. Moorhead. Oh, that's a terrific pass and a first down. And a flag as well late. Moorhead went down, so you could be tacking on, Pat, 15 yards, and you will, to this first down conversion.
That was huge right there. I mean, you couldn't ask for any better of a throw from your junior signal caller. Matt Moorhead, calm under pressure, drops it right in the basket for Lewis Moore. And talking to Coach Dean, Lewis Moore, a guy who really doesn't drop him. If you give him a shot at that ball, he's going to bring it down. Moves the chains, then you add on top the roughing penalty. Becomes a pretty significant play there for the Fordham offense.
Yeah, roughing the passer. So this gives Fordham Prep the ball at the Holy Trinity 25-yard line. The Rams yet to score on the Titans this season. The regular season game was a 40-0 victory for Holy Trinity. Toss to English. Cuts it inside at the 20. And he'll gain a couple, although there is another flag on the play. And this will be coming back.
It's tough to give up a holding penalty right there for Fordham Prep, get them back behind the sticks. But I feel like this drive, means a lot. Even if they don't have enough time to claw back in this one and punch a ticket to play next weekend, I think being able to score up against this vaunted defense would mean a lot to a lot of these guys. A lot of seniors on this team who've had great careers. Think about guys like Charlie English, Lewis Moore, Tommy Geis, Jericho Anchetta, Keegan Duty,
Liam Conlon,
Khalil Adegoke, Will Messia, Michael Sempervivo, a lot of different guys who have been core contributors here at this program at Fordham Prep for a long time. So they're going to look to punch it into the end zone here, be able to leave Hicksville with their head held high.
Geis in motion, and another penalty is thrown. Illegal motion against the offense.
It goes without saying, not what they're hoping for here. Right after that little positive momentum from the Moore catch and the subsequent roughing the passer, kind of give it all back right there.
And our conversation with Pat Dean felt that, coming in that, listen, he knew the challenge that Holy Trinity presented. Said they were a well-coached bunch of young men. They played the game the right way, tough and physical. It will be a challenge, no doubt. But he was sure of one thing: it will not be 40-0 again. And that was his pledge coming in. Moorhead, wobbly pass. Somehow that's complete. And Anchetta inside the 20.
What a great play by Anchetta here. Ball's a little bit wobbly coming out from Moorhead, so he has to revert back to the ball. Let's see, coming out of the motion, just does a really good job and actually sets up a second down and manageable after all those horrible mistakes. Start off this set of downs.
Yeah, they are at the 20-yard line. You got to imagine it would be just an emotional boost to get into the end zone for this Fordham Prep team. Moorhead in shotgun. Hands it off. And a solid gain there. Is that Benny?
Yeah. I got to hand it to him. Benny Lee doing a really good Devin Gonzalez impression, breaking a lot of tackles since he's been in this game, giving kind of new life to the Rams offense. And, pretty impressive for a guy standing about 5'7", coming in and running like, nice 250-pound back.
Yeah, Benny Lee, probably one of the best rugby players at Fordham Prep, which, again, says a lot. Fordham Prep, Xavier, again, that synergy between the two Jesuit schools, very, very good at the sport of rugby. First down, Moorhead in the red zone. Looks end zone, and turning the other way there was Anchetta, incomplete.
Good job out there in coverage by Jaden Simpson. If it weren't for Gonzalez, Simpson would really be the super sophomore we'd be talking about all day. Had himself an incredible afternoon with a couple of touchdowns and really been invaluable back there in the secondary for the Holy Trinity Titans. And, if you're a Holy Trinity fan looking to, continue building beyond just this season, really exciting when you look at some of the talent that's coming back to Hicksville next year. Just a ton of dudes. Josiah Brown maybe going to be the best skill position player in the state next season.
Second down. I love this look. Nice catch by Lewis Moore, and he gets pulled down inside the 10.
Lewis Moore looked to be a little bit dinged up after that play, but, just another senior out here fighting. I'm sure he's acutely aware that his time in a Fordham Prep jersey is very limited at this point, and just kind of making the most of every snap out there.
Nearing 5 minutes left in this fourth quarter.
And, I don't believe in such a thing as moral victories, but I think the way that Fordham has played today gives them a lot to walk off the field one last time with their heads held high.
Charlie English with the carry. Runs it towards the sticks. And the chain crew wisely dropping those sticks as well. You don't want that collision, that's for sure. But you mentioned the guys back for Holy Trinity, and, so many of them, even guys who are juniors. 34-14 now the score for Iona. So the Gales creating some separation from their biggest rival and looking to punch their spot back in. Remember, it's Iona who are the defending AAA champions, defending Catholic State champions as well.
And they wanted that 1 seed in AAA going into this playoffs. If you'll remember, an incredible finish against St. Anthony's during the regular season. And I'm sure, they're going to be closely watching Varsity Media tonight.
English, the pitch right. Cuts it inside. But the point I was going to make about Holy Trinity is, you've got all these great athletes, and so many of them are back. But to play, and you know it, Pat, to play at the high level of AAA, you need depth, right? You need a big roster, and that's what they're looking to try to build. That's maybe that next step, right? You've got the track guys, you got the athletes in. You got to build out that roster. You got to get like a 50-man roster. You have to get the rosters going in the lower levels as well.
I completely agree. I don't think there's many people who are going to argue if you say that Holy Trinity has the skill positions, some of the guys that it takes to win at the highest level, no matter where you play. But in order to compete against the very biggest in New York State Catholic football, it really takes, like you said, that 50, 60-man roster at the varsity level, that incredible competitive depth that I think they're still working towards a bit.
Moorhead goes end zone, and he throws over Lewis Moore. Second and goal now becomes third and goal.
And Holy Trinity is just stingy on the defensive side of the ball. It'd be very easy for them to say, hey, run it in, we'll get the ball back, kind of knee this one out, and move on to next week at Mitchell Field. But Holy Trinity's not giving them anything. Fordham's really got their work cut out for them. Try and break this shutout in the waning minutes of the game.
Third and goal for the Rams. 3:12 remaining in the fourth quarter. Moorhead rolls left. Goes end zone again, and that one's knocked down, but a flag is thrown.
That was an unfortunate play right there. Looks like it might have been Anchetta as well as Duty. But just a couple receivers out there on the edge for Fordham Prep running crossing routes. Hope to time that up perfectly with what they call a little bit of a rub to try and get the defender off. Guys kind of collide into each other, but looks like there's a little bit of defensive contact to give them a fresh set of downs.
I believe that was defensive holding. The call. So it looks like Iona is ready to book their spot back to Mitchell Athletic Complex.
By the way, just want to shout out real quick. Looks like there was offsetting penalties on that last play, so still a third down situation and goal for the Rams.
Handoff, touchdown for Fordham. Charlie English, man, he has worked his tail off, and a deserved touchdown for the senior.
His 13th touchdown of the year. He's really just been a workhorse for this Rams offense all year long. And really, really happy to see Charlie English be able to punch this one in. He's the perfect guy to carry that touchdown in for Fordham. And you know what? Have the badge of honor of scoring a touchdown on one of the very best defenses in all of New York.
Well, you mentioned the keys to start this game, Pat Godfrey, and during this injury timeout, let's revisit those keys for both teams, kind of see where we are, right, at this point. Move the ball on offense. The Rams were doing that in the first half, but they weren't able to really get into the red zone, right? Don't give up the big penalty. They certainly have done that. And you got to say, even that third key, it was a job well done for most of the game until Devin Gonzalez got on his horse and just pulled a whole bunch of Rams with him into the end zone.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things about this Holy Trinity attack that just makes it so difficult to stop. Because you got guys like Gonzalez and Jameer Reeder who will just wear you out play by play and really make you as a defensive player commit every time you're going to bring them to the ground. So Fordham Prep does a great job containing them. Small lapse in focus, and all of a sudden it's a blowout.
Holy Trinity's keys: control the ball on offense, be more efficient. It took some time, right? Again, perhaps you do give credit to the Fordham defense, but also maybe not having that ability to play for a couple weeks, right? Played a factor defensively, stay on par. They've done that. Sustainability, they've done that as well, right? So they were able to weather a little bit of that rust in the first half and kind of show, especially in that third quarter, just who they are.
Yeah, I think we kind of saw the character of that team right out the gate in the third quarter. You know that they had a stern talking to at halftime from Coach Roy. Hey, guys, we got to be us. We got to do what we do best. And they came out and did that in the third quarter. The rest is history.
McKillop the holder. The PAT by Winston Odo is good. So something to celebrate here for Fordham, at least. They got on the scoreboard. They trailed this one 28-7. We remind you again, we've got all three of those Catholic championship games next weekend from Mitchell Athletic Complex. It is championship Saturday in Uniondale, and the Varsity Media Sports Network will be all over it. Starts in the morning, 11 a.m., bright and early, the AA2 championship game. Could it be Xavier and Mount St. Michael? Maybe Zavarian has something to say about that. That's at 11 a.m. AA1. I think it's safe to say at this point that Holy Trinity has booked their spot there, more Catholic, looking like perhaps they're the team. And those two teams played to a touchdown difference here in Hicksville. I would argue the two best teams in AA1. And then the AAA championship at 5 o'clock. It looks like Iona Prep is on their way there, barring something unforeseen late, but there's been plenty of unforeseen in the AAA this year. Just as Stepanak, a field goal away from being the 1 seed. It's blocked. It's a touchdown by Jaden Jenkins, and it is St. Anthony's, the top seed, and Stepanak, the team that has to go to Iona.
Yeah, certainly not an easy assignment for Stepanak today, having to go in a New Rochelle rivalry game. And, they're down in that one. Real excited for the game we got in store for you guys tonight at 7 o'clock, seeing whether it's St. Anthony's or Chaminade who's going to punch their ticket to that AAA title game. And I know that at St. Anthony's, those guys have been talking all year long. Let's restore the tradition about what this place used to be. They've done a really good job so far, but that's a program built on championships. Excellent opportunity for them tonight.
Yeah, Pat, you go back to 2013, the last St. Anthony's championship, and it was against Chaminade, a 35-0 win, which came on the heels of a tight loss to the Flyers the year before when Zane Wasp kicked the winning field goal for the Flyers, and that was their first championship since 1998. So there's plenty of storylines when we make our trip to South Huntington tonight. You've got that stout front seven, an onside type of a kick.
And really that's a gift from Fordham Prep
to Holy Trinity. I'm sure Coach Roy feels like most coaches do. You can never get enough time to practice for that type of situation. Right there, Holy Trinity does a great job recovering the onside kick, giving the ball back to Rocco Reynon.
Tonight, again, you've got that incredible offensive machine, that juggernaut of the Friars with Dante Torres and all his boys, right? KJ Duff and big play Timmy Longo and Ian Strong, of course, going against a stout front seven of Chaminade, man. You got those linebackers, Charlie Battaglia and Ben Mann, those dudes up front as well. It should be, you're a guy who battled in the trenches for years. This should be a fun battle in the trenches between St. Anthony's and Chaminade tonight.
100%. I really think one of the keys to that game is just going to be, can Chaminade stop St. Anthony's on the ground? It's a very, very difficult offensive stop, irregardless of which poison you're forced to take. But if they're able to inhibit St. Anthony's on the ground, that should make it a little bit easier against Dante Torres, who, as you know, is one of the very best that has come through New York State in a long time.
Jameer Reeder with that first down run, which sets up a manageable 2nd and 4. We've got a couple of Fordham commits in that game, too, at quarterback. Dante Torres, the football commit, and Matt Diegues, the baseball commit. So you've got a Fordham connection there as well. Ball was ruled down on the turf on that run.
Looked like that ball was recovered anyway by Trevor Benjamin. Just want to give a quick shout out this whole offensive line for Holy Trinity. A couple young guys getting thrown into the mix, and I know that can really be difficult. Offensive line is all about having that communication going, right, with the guys next to you, all be on the same page. It can be very difficult to do when you got some new faces thrown into the mix. But Irv Briggs, Declan McLeod, Justin Costa, and then the two freshmen, Trevor Benjamin and Trevon Cole Jenkins, just doing an incredible job of allowing Holy Trinity to establish the run and run away with this into the AA1 title game next week.
I'll go a step further from that in a moment. It's Zion Woodall-Trippett in for Rocco Reynon, rushes it outside. Also want to give a shout out to Zayden Michel, number 58. He was a 3-year starter at right tackle. Unfortunately, suffered a season knee injury against Kellenberg. He had a knee injury last year as well. Such a great kid as well is Michel. I saw him on the sidelines earlier. Kind of an extra member of that coaching staff at this point, but you feel for a guy like Zayden Michel who makes that trip out from Southampton to Hicksville every single day to be a student athlete here. He is sorely missed, but as you mentioned, it's an opportunity then for some young guys, and the freshmen on the right side of the line, Benjamin and Cole Jenkins, have done that. On the left side, though, man, you've got some experience. You got Briggs, a 3-year starter, McLeod, a 2-year starter, and Costa, a 2-year starter as well on that offensive line.
Obviously, Irvin Briggs, the big left tackle, gets a lot of the credit. He's a UConn commit. He's the reigning AA2 Offensive Lineman of the Year. But, all those guys across the board doing a really good job.
Final score in Staten Island, it was Moore Catholic beating St. John the Baptist 14-7. So the best two teams in AA1, they will meet a week from today out at Mitchell Athletic Complex. Victory formation here for the Titans.
And Dylan, it's going to be deja vu all over again for us, getting to see Moore Catholic take on Holy Trinity. Should be a lot of fun next week at Mitchell Field. And boy, both of those teams rising up a level year over year and emphatically stamping their way onto the championship game.
That game was 21-14 here in Hicksville on October 16th. Holy Trinity, a slim victory over Moore Catholic. We'll have a lot of time to talk about that. We'll even probably talk about it on our podcast on Varsity Media Pass as the final horn sounds on this one. But you've got great athletes. You've got big, strong, physical linemen on both teams. Both teams like to smash mouth, man. It should be a lot of fun next week.
And two programs looking to establish themselves
as teams that belong amongst the big boys, really. And both teams have done a great job in just getting there next week. But boy, am I excited to see a rematch of last year's AA2 title.
So the AA1 championship game is set. Who will be in the AAA? We have a feeling it will be Iona, but we'll find out. There you see again the triple header next Saturday from Mitchell Athletic Complex. AA2 starts at 11, the AA1 at 2, and then the AAA championship around 5 o'clock. But again, we've got a big one tonight, man, on the Varsity Media Sports Network. It is Chaminade and St. Anthony's, a rivalry renewed under the lights at Cy Donnelly Field. The game was originally scheduled for last night. The storm, or the prospects of a storm, pushed it to Saturday night. There will not be a seat empty at Cy Donnelly Field. 7 o'clock kickoff. Chaminade and St. Anthony's. Winner books their spot into the AAA championship next Saturday.
Yeah, and no matter what you're looking for tonight, you're going to have it out there on the field at Cy Donnelly, whether it be star power, whether it be drama with these two great programs clashing, one of the best rivalries in all of high school sports. I'm real pumped for it, and can't wait to see you guys at 7 o'clock.
That'll do it here for us from Hicksville, for our entire Varsity Media crew. Our executive producer, Ben Turchin. Our technical director, of course, the immortal Chris Sweeney. Our camera guys, Angelo Caezo and Travis DeLuise. And for my broadcast partner, of course, Pat Godfrey. Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us. Congratulations to the Titans of Holy Trinity. They advanced to the championship game. We'll have another great game tonight right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.